you're live.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's Action for Assange Vigil. What the fuck week is it? Is it 77.1, I think?
77! Right?
Wow, 77 weeks. So here we are, week 77. Tonight we have a couple really cool guests. We'll get to that in just a second. Obviously, we want to get to the numbers first. So we have 3,664 days of illegal and arbitrary detention for Julian Assange. 619 days since the WikiLeaks founder was trafficked from the Ecuadorian embassy after he was sold to the UK for a $4.2 billion loan from the IMF. Let's see. We have 13 days. 13 days until Vanessa Baratzer's decision is due to be given January 4th, which it's really probably not her decision. She's just going to be reading her script that day. So 1,288 days of federal incarceration for Reality Winner. But we do have 275 days of freedom for Chelsea Manning. I know that they just did another round of GoFundMe, I think for her birthday. So I don't know if that's still going on, but you guys can maybe look into that if you want. But she also does stream on Twitch Thursday through Sunday from, is it 7 to 11 Eastern, right? I think.
It is, and she also just randomly pops in during the weeks now at 7 sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys should definitely check out her Twitch. Just, head over, show her some love, say hi, all that good stuff. And then also a little bit of good news, kind of, sort of. Jeremy Hammond has been released from prison to a halfway house, which is not ideal, but it's a start, I guess. So we'll take the little wins when we get them because it's 2020 and everything else sucks. So yeah, those are our numbers for this week. And I will hand it over to Andrew to give us maybe an update on some of the stuff we have going on January 3rd and 4th in DC.
Yeah, so we have reached our GoFundMe goal, so thank you to everyone that has pitched in to help out with that. But for those of you who don't know, on January 3rd and 4th, we will be in Washington, D.C. We'll be starting at the British Embassy at noon on January 3rd. We should be going back at midnight on the 4th, because that's when they'll be waking Julian up at 5 a.m. to get ready to be read, essentially his rendition. And then we will be outside of the Department of Justice at noon on the 4th. So we look forward to having everybody join us because it'll be super fun and exciting. It's always a good time going out there yelling at British people. How are you today, Steve?
Yo, dude, I love you, but miss me with going out at midnight in DC on January 3rd.
Yeah, in DC.
Like, it's not like I won't be up. I'll just be warm.
Yes.
That's fair. I'll bring you a heated jacket. How about that?
Look, man, if that jacket can fit over my broken toes, sure, we can talk. It's not like I can't be bribed, but you're gonna have to up the ante quite a bit there, man. This is all I'm saying.
How are you
Bermas, good to see you.
Yeah, sorry, Bermas.
Hey, no,
We're very professional here.
Story. Happy holidays, guys. I'm trying to be in the festive spirit. We're on the eve of Christmas Eve. And, it's...
Are you one of those people?
No, I'm not usually, but here's why. Here's why I'm doing it. Are you ready? Why I decided to step up the festiveness.
I'm all ears, buddy.
Number one, I've been kind of a grump around the house. I'm not going to lie. Other than getting the tree early and we got our first real tree, all this has been going on. I just did the DC trip. People are on edge. They got to go back to school for a couple days. Now they're back on a full break, blah, 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 blah. And, I figured it's time to finally get into the holiday spirit. And on top of that, one of the big pushes in the grifter conspiracy world and then the new agey conspiracy world is that somehow, because 2020 is such a fucking shit show, that it's actually the 2012 prophecies that we were warned about from the Mayans. This is it. It's all, this is coming.
So if you don't account for leap year.
Anyway, I have always spoken out against that grift. Even pre-2012, they tried to get me on the True TV conspiracy theory show and talking about it. I spent 2 hours on the phone with a producer several times explaining how I didn't believe any of it, and that if I was on there, that would have to be perfectly clear, and I would point out all the asinine theories that would not come true.
Is this just because you wish that you had capitalized off the Celestine prophecy in the 90s like the rest of us who were around for that garbage?
Again, it's just too much. So now the new thing is that this is it. And one of the fear-based prophecies that have come up again and again and again during this whole COVID 1984 nonsense is that we're going to get hit with a meteor shower. Planet X is going to return. And this is it. This is the Armageddon. This is the meteor shower stuff. And today is the 22nd. So after tonight, if there is no meteor shower, chances are it's not coming before January 1st. And I'm hoping that we can gain some semblance of sanity. I loved the Match.com commercial with Satan too. I thought it was hilarious. All right. There's not going to be a meteor shower. And, you know, to get in the festive good news, I want to show the audience this really quick. Folks, if you live in the United States, according to the CDC, okay, this is all of the United States, everything combined. Okay, we're going to scroll down. We'll do it live. We'll let everybody know this is a real document. This is on their website. This is the percentage point. How many people, okay, per 100,000 people in the United States died of COVID? Not even 1 out of 100,000 citizens out of the last 7 days. We're not talking about an average. As in a week's time, there was not one death per 100,000. It was literally less than one. What does that mean? That means if you were alive last week in the United States, you had exactly a 0.008% chance of dying from COVID-19. So I don't know what to tell you. I could go on about numbers because there's plenty of them out there. But if that shouldn't be cause for celebration and the end of any type of lockdown, I am on covid.cdc.gov. I don't know what to say, but in a world that's upside down, in a world that criminalizes people like Assange, in a world where it pushes forward in this censorship automation nation, where they're literally pissing in your mouth with a $600 check, who knows? Like, you know, I saw today from one of the blue check marks, and I have not confirmed this. In fact, I retweeted it. I put it out to the Bermas Brigade because ultimately I don't have time to spot check a 5,596 page document that Congress had less than 4 hours to read before they voted on it. But apparently they stuck in that bill that if you stream copyrighted material live and you are convicted, that you will now become a felon and have the potential to have your vote taken away in this country. How wild sauce is that? Like, if that's in there, whoever put that in there should be hung. Listen, I'm usually for due process, but if you put in the fact that, like, let's say I get copyright strikes, not because I intentionally put them in, because I'm at live events and there's music playing in the background. Just happened to me at DC. You know, normally it's just they take the money that I don't get anyway, so I don't give a flying rat's ass. But like, if I'm going to get a felony because I'm at an event and somebody's playing Louie, I don't know that I should, you know, lose my right to vote for that. I mean, maybe I'm wild. Maybe that's like something they shouldn't have stuck in the COVID relief bill. Like,
right?
You see, Jason, you see, COVID gets really upset when you stream illegally, and if you stream copyrighted material, the COVID will come and find you, and it will find all your friends and all your family. So you better stream with a mask on, Jason, because, you know, on the off chance that and the gloves, and you might as well get like a hazmat suit. Look, we live in a fucking cartoon.
I don't think a correlation to that. If you have somebody that there was a virus out there, that in a week's time you had a 0.0008% chance of dying out there, and somehow the relief package after the lockdowns was going to include that if you took Eminem's new single Napster Style, you might be a felon. There would have been a fucking uproar in the late 90s, early 2000s. We weren't that far gone. We're that far gone. We're so far gone. I saw Fauci pricking Santa Claus. The man is on television with Muppets and Sesame Street characters saying he personally vaccinated old Saint Nick. Now, I will say this. There's a new movie out there called Fat Man starring Mel Gibson. And I highly doubt Mel Gibson is letting Anthony Fauci jab him in the arm with the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm just saying, Mel, maybe you should set the record straight. I need a tweet. I need a viral video. I need something.
If we could circle back for a moment, though, something that's always not necessarily bothered me, but just made me, like, why is this way? How come there aren't any nice prophecies? How come there aren't any prophecies that end with like, yeah, and everyone lived happily ever after, and everyone got laid, and you could go fishing when you wanted to, and you got your hand up.
You can't use those kinds of prophecies to scare the fuck out of future generations of people. Because since the year 4, people thought that the biblical prophecies were coming true. Like, since they've existed, people said that they were happening. So it's just more of that COVID-19 intergalactic Federation of Space Alien Council level of propaganda.
So let me just see what I can say about a correction here. You're right. In most cases, it's doom and gloom in the prophecies. Now let me tell you 2 cases where it's not so doom and gloom for at least one group of people. So first case scenario, Old Testament, real Judaism, the return of Solomon's temple. They are the chosen people. They rule over everybody. For the Jews, it's a paradise, apparently.
And you're going to Mormons after this, aren't you?
No, well, I was going to jump into just anyone who's hardcore biblical revelations Christian, because they believe pretty much the same thing. Those are the Christian Zionists that don't really understand what they're getting into. But they believe all that happens. But then the dude that rebuilds Solomon's temple isn't the greatest guy in the world, who would enslave a people except for one race. Weird. And that's actually Lucifer. Revelations does come down, fire and brimstone, all sorts of bad stuff. But at the end of the day, comic book style, Steve, Jesus Christmas and the gang win.
Yeah, no, I've read the story. I have, and I forgot that the more, if you're Mormon, you get your own planet, but that's not really prophecy. That's baked into the dogma.
Yeah.
That's a contract. Can you imagine?
The Navajos believe that if they lose, then their alien brothers and sisters come down and pick them up and take all of them to a new planet mother that hasn't been defiled yet.
Defiled.
Defiled.
Again, I don't buy into it.
But to be fair, for that part to happen, the black snake has to not be defeated before the blue star comes. And technically, we did defeat the black snake. It was just in court.
I don't even know what's happening anymore on this show. What's going on?
If you've just turned in, this is the free Assange Vigil series.
What is happening here?
But in some other crazy news, Sarah Palin.
Oh, boy. Interesting, right?
That's not crazy to me.
It's not.
It's just interesting. It's just par for the course.
It's weird. It's weird.
You guys, if you would have ever told me that if 5 years ago you would have said Sarah Palin will be supporting Julian Assange and you will not be able to get a single progressive or left-leaning politician to say a word about it, I would have laughed hysterically. And
I would have believed you. Not about the Sarah Palin part, but about the left-leaning politicians.
Yeah, I might have.
2016, that door just, none of them did.
Yeah. No, for sure. But it's a strange time. And she was very reasonable and,
this is the most dialed down I've ever seen Sarah Palin. Reserved, humble, apologetic.
Yeah.
That's a brand new game right there.
Dumbest timeline, dude. I'm telling you, dumbest timeline.
Yeah. No, this is after the Large Hadron Collider thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's great though because right now that's the momentum that we have is towards libertarian and right leaning people. And we can't get any traction on the left at all. Trust me, I've tried. We've tried. Everybody's tried. So if we can get, and Sarah Palin has a pretty decent sized following, and she obviously is somebody that Donald Trump knows who she is, and he could listen to her. And so, I think it's great. And I think I'm so tired of people doing the left-right thing with this issue, you guys. It's pissing me off. Oh my God, Sarah Palin. I don't care that it's Sarah Palin. I don't care that she's right-wing. I don't give a fuck.
I will still fight any unincarcerated male member of the Palin family for charity. I will. Like, that doesn't take away.
You can donate it to Julian's defense. How about that?
Jason will get to call it.
There you go.
That fight.
We got a triple card coming up, Caged Aggression, this March, less than 100 days away. I'm pretty excited about it. Come on down, Davenport, Iowa, over at the River Center. Tickets are reasonable.
That's
nice.
good stuff.
Listen to him. That was smooth.
It's been like 25 years since I've been through Davenport, Iowa.
I like it here, man. I'll tell you, I'm not wearing the mask anymore. Like, I go get my coffee without the mask. Everybody's really friendly to me. I was in the mall today, and like, there were people without the masks on. Apparently there was a shooting there a few weeks ago. I'm actually going to have the guy that owns the bubble tea that a bullet went. It's a whole thing. I guess a bullet went into his bubble tea, and the health inspector showed up, and he thought it was over the bullet, and instead it was because his employees weren't wearing masks.
Oh,
and it was a whole thing. Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, again, we live in a cartoon world, but listen, this is a state that's fighting back. The bars are open here, and the restaurants are packed, and people have had it, and they should have it. Again, if you lived in the United States for an entire week, you had a 0.0008% chance of possibly dying from COVID-19. I mean, again, it's why, and again, I hate to downplay it because it is fucked up what this thing is. But again, the response has been so over the top, so Orwellian, so do as I say and not as I do. It's been a consolidation of power. It continues to be. They keep talking about an efficacy of a vaccine that has a 0% proven efficacy of stopping infection. So why am I taking this? Everybody's like, the efficacy of the vaccine. Yeah, to create antibodies. I mean, I have that Vin Gupta guy on the Today Show getting the vaccine and then saying, in 2 to 4 weeks, we might find out whether it stops infection. Like, what bizarro world is this? Meanwhile, in the first 4 days, you had a 2.7% rate of people that were either unable to go to work, had to be hospitalized, or had to be seen by a doctor or other medical professional that took the vaccine. That's not 0.0008%. That's 2.7% that people are like, wow, I'm screwed up. And that one nurse, they tried to say like, oh, well, she's like afraid of needles. Yeah. Okay. She passes out with needles. That's why she works in a hospital.
Well, and why would they choose somebody afraid of needles to do that on TV? They wouldn't. They would ask that question beforehand. Have you ever had a problem with getting shit? Because there's no way that they didn't think about that beforehand. And she's, like you said, she's a nurse.
But again, we live in like the celebritard universe where the Masked Singer is on, and I'm really worried about the fake fucking crowd that's not even there. Like my nieces love it, and I get it. It's singing, it's people in outfits, it's famous people. It's a big commercial for pop culture bullshit. I get it.
Yeah,
now it's on the level where they're not even faking. They can't even really fake that you're voting at home and that everybody's there. They can't even have a live studio audience, so they cut in CGI. And it's just so cartoon level. I'm like, when I was a kid, I watched replays of the Gong Show. And, the Gong Show was goofy, and it had its celebrities, and it had its whatever, and it was edited. But it was still so much more real.
Yeah.
Everything I see on television now. And that wasn't very real.
Well,
go ahead.
That goes to a level about social programming, because it's the way you have to watch that show and to be able to enjoy it is that you have to believe that the people are there when they're actually not. You have to believe that every host on that panel doesn't actually know the truth about who these people are. You have to then be happy about the security forces that they brag about and actively show looking like CIA and FBI members, while at the same time being like, ooh, I wonder who's behind the mask. I want, like, it's so deep in this level of social programming that the fact that it was on a year leading up to coronavirus is just fucking like gut wrenching, because it was some shit that I had fucking been like yelling at my family about for watching, to the point that I like get kicked out of my house.
No earthly idea what either of you are talking about.
I think it's a show, right? Like a show that like they wear like masks and like costumes and masks, like these like famous people, right? And then you have to try to guess who they are and their voice. Is that what that is? Is that?
They're basically dressed like furries, and you have to figure out who they are.
Okay, yeah, I've seen like some like I think like those little like promos that they have on TV, or like when I watch football, you know.
So the way
wait, hold up. Why?
I don't know. So Steve, you can ask that question about most TV.
It's a commercial for the security state more than anything. Like the Hollywood influencers, the people that want to manipulate the social consciousness, inject it. And that show is an example of how it is so easily manipulated to make people have to believe a certain way.
I mean, look at it this way. So they have like 3 celebrities over there that are obviously scripted, right? So let's put it this way. What they do is they take somebody like Busta Rhymes, who hasn't had an album in years. He isn't relevant, but he's got a huge name, right? So they bring him out there. He's dressed like a dragon. They hint, and like you said, they always have the security force around. Like during the whole thing, they play it up of how like secure it is that nobody knows who this is. So then it's a comedy routine between the 3 people on who it is. There's fake voting on who the people think it is. And then by the end of it, and it ends up being like Busta Rhymes, he's got an album out now this week that you can get on Spotify. And so it's into the cycle of this infotainment culture. And at the same time, while you're guessing, you're bringing up other pop culture references to make sure that Madonna's still reference.
So it's like Hollywood squares with different metrics.
So, kind of, but
kind
like
of.
If the FBI was a part of the show.
Yeah.
Who's to say they weren't?
Well, yeah, but they weren't sitting next to the people.
If Gilbert Gottfried isn't an asset, I don't know who is.
Well,
right.
Bringing up the Gong Show, you know, Chuck Berry wrote that book and then it got made into a movie. I'm sure you've seen it. I mean, Chuck Berry claims to have been a CIA hitman that was recruited by the agency. Whether any of that is true, Sam Rockwell did a hell of a job in that film.
Chuck Berry, what a harsh end to his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was
he was a CIA hitman. Like
that was raw. Okay, let's take that out of the equation. Chuck Berry is a very dirty bird. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not going to go into it at all.
Thank you.
Yeesh.
Oh.
Man, we've gone into the weeds here.
I want to talk for a moment though about what's going to go down in DC, because there are going to be all kinds of groups of people there, and they're going to be there for all sorts of different reasons. And sandwiched right in the middle of all the action is action for Assange, and we're going to be in a position that, like, I don't think that we've been in yet since we've been in DC. We're going to be able to like have grown-up conversation with people who are on the left and on the right, and we're gonna have it in real time, like indoors with each other, not on camera, and we're gonna hash some shit out, and it's gonna be fun. It is. I mean, this is a really unique moment, and I genuinely believe that. The reasons that the people are there are all because their government has failed them, that you can't even get the most simple things done. And there's going to be a lot of people looking for solutions, and I don't think many of those solutions exist inside the halls of Congress.
No,
No.
I don't think any of them do. There are no solutions there. I don't think that's what they do there ever. But yeah, I think that you're right. I think I'm really excited about the fact that we've heard of so many groups so far that are going to be there. And I mean, that's why if you guys can get there and, you know, and we need lots of bodies, because if we can turn every event into an Assange event, that would be cool. So, I mean, if we could like disperse throughout the city when we're not doing our own stuff and, you know, kind of try to overtake some other some other shit, that'd be cool. You know,
The trick is megaphones. So no one ever has the good megaphones. So
They were
We
lacking.
learned the first time, man.
The megaphones were garbage in DC.
it was fun. I tried to give Alex Jones my megaphone twice. Not even because I inherently support the man, but because I felt bad that no one could fucking hear him. And that I could heckle louder than he could megaphone a crowd. Like heckle without my megaphone. So I literally I probably have it on video. Me like trying to walk up in the bushes. I'm like, hey, give this to Alex. Nobody can hear
Well,
him.
that was your problem, dude. You don't pop up out of the bushes, man.
Who do you think I am?
That's a paranoid motherfucker right there.
That's some creeper shit, straight up, Andrew.
Hey,
Come
man,
on.
not
That's a
every
guy
one-
with
I don't
concerns,
think
bro,
so.
and security, and you're gonna pop up out of the bushes?
no, that's dangerous. You got a death wish?
Okay, we're gonna have a talk about like your lack of regard for your own life.
Yeah.
We are.
He was doing good work. I'm with this. I'm 100% with it. I'm telling you, you gotta wrangle in there, man. You just gotta weasel through. You gotta get the camera going.
Yep.
You gotta talk to who you can. I mean, that's how I've always been able to do it.
Did you get to see the video of me almost getting fucking hassled at the Millie Weaver event yet?
I haven't. I have all that stuff in there. I caught a little bit of the Antifa stuff when I got back. It's still
It was on your camera. It wasn't on mine.
yeah. It was
It
on
was
the.
on- yeah.
Oh, so wait, that's right. No, I haven't. I dumped all that stuff. I still haven't even looked at it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
on that one.
I need to look at it. Yeah, man. You know, it's funny. So the guys that I'm going with, one of them texted me. He's like, let's go have fun and let's just make sure nobody has to get killed. And I go, dude, with the situations that I've gotten myself into and then worked myself out of, I don't think we have to stub a toe. You know, like if you're smart enough and you're quick enough, I and fucking hand to God, let's pray this happens again. I've never really even gotten a scratch, you know, and I realize a lot of these people are violent. We missed a stabbing by about a half an hour last time, Andrew.
Yep.
I know that you were over by the, the firecrackers.
I have the craziest videos, man. One of the ones I sent you. So I was on the scoot after we left, right? I don't even know if I got to tell you this story yet. I just went around for about an hour and a half through the quarantine lockdown zone, right? And if you look like a normal person, no one messes with you at all. So you could just go literally drive your scooter through a police line and they're just like, oh, okay, like cool. Like this dude's fucking smashing people that you could just drive right through. So anyways, I get into a position where you have Antifa on one side of the street and Proud Boys on the other side in an intersection, and with the police 3 deep in the middle. And then they do this like fucking flanking maneuver, and it's it's a 4-way intersection, and 3 of the 4 sides are blocked off. And I'm literally just in a lane by myself with protesters on either of these 3 corners. And I'm like I literally know what I should be doing. Like we have a whole lane to ourselves right here.
Hey, there was a lot of cops, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw them gearing up before sundown. I mean, putting on the gear, and I'm like, what are they getting ready for?
Yeah, it's fucking role playing by everybody. Everyone involved is fucking role playing.
Oh,
When you've got to pick out your outfit,
Yeah.
like that's a scene. It's not. I don't know why that hasn't sunk in yet.
One of the videos that I have, the first video I have of Antifa before the firecrackers go off, is the largest group of them before they split off at all, chanting, "Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe," back and forth to themselves while the police are standing there. And then the police just say, "Clear the street," and literally have officers screaming at other officers to break ranks and get out of the street. And then the Antifa crowd just like plows through chanting, "Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe."
Yeah. Again, I think that the way they try to portray it in the media is obviously they play up the stabbing. We talked about that. Do we call that a mostly peaceful protest? It's like, well, that was one incident. We didn't see all of them. What I didn't see, when we were walking through the crowd and that car was coming through hundreds of people, the Proud Boys, destroy that car. I don't like the message. I don't like flags that say fuck Antifa. And I don't like flags that have like arrows going through Proud Boys' faces, like as a cock. I think that's obviously detrimental. I also don't like walking on the street doing my live stream and getting approached by somebody screaming in my face within seconds, calling me a fascist. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I literally did more to fight fascism while I took my morning dump than that girl has ever done in her life. Like, it's that simple. Like, I don't know what else to say. That she doesn't even know what fascism is. Like, first you have to identify it. We live under a we have a pseudo fascistic corporate state, and it's not even a state anymore. It's a conglomerate. Like, that's what the predator class is, and they can't even imagine that. I did a show today that Riz Flex, that girl that I ran into, Andrew, while we were over there, and she was great, but she had she's stuck in this right-left paradigm. She just thinks fake news is a new phenomenon. They were all invested in Bill Barr, like he was going to ride in on a unicorn with a fucking magical leprechaun and spray fields of gold throughout the entire freedom verse and put people away. Like, no. Instead, what do we have? Like, you look at what's happening right now. I'll tell you what, a real operation that's going on right now is the cleanup crew is taking care of the Epstein loose ends. They are working on behalf of Wexner and the gang. They already exonerated Wexner. And now all the other players that helped that still had a big name, Brunel, Nygaard, anybody that they think is going to talk or work, they have them now. They have Ghislaine Maxwell. They just denied her bail today. They're working out the backdoor deals. They're seeing who's going to give up the most amount of names and information that they need to close up. It's not a coinky-dink that, again, the Justice Department had the Hunter Biden fucking laptop while they were impeaching the president for being, hey, Hunter Biden and Joe are pretty corrupt over there in the Ukraine. Maybe you want to look back into that. Like, that would be cool with me. And then we could work out this deal where you get aid.
That's treason.
It's unbelievably treason. Like, you literally had a laptop where you knew the guy who was running for the presidency and was the vice president was covering up incest pedophilia within his own family. On top of anything else, incest pedophilia with his own fucking granddaughter. Look at me, people. That's not fiction. That's not Chinese torture porn that people wanted to put out there with bullshit that got discredited. No, that's Hunter Biden. That's his 9-inch cock, and that's a 14-year-old girl that happens to be Joe Biden's granddaughter behind him in the bed. So don't tell me that there isn't a real cover-up and a problem with the media and that they didn't know this before they impeached the fucking president on something that was true. But then the big squirrel fuck job is they're like, who needs to defend you, Trump? Alan Dershowitz. and here's the thing, guys, let's bring it full circle to Assange, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. I say everything I feel. I put out the information as it goes. Dershowitz is another guy that infiltrated WikiLeaks as a lawyer, and I don't trust. Although he can sit there and talk a good game, but Dershowitz, just before the shit was really hitting the fan for Assange, right, during that whole Ecuadorian thing in the very beginning, was his lawyer. He was working for WikiLeaks. A lot of people don't know that. Dershowitz has spoke about it. Talk about a turd in the punch bowl. You got to wonder, a guy like Dershowitz, he's part of that cleanup crew. Him, Barr. I mean, it's all a network of, I don't know what else to call it, but pure evil. Like, it's evil. That's what evil to me.
To say nothing of the fact that for 4 years they've had Seth Rich's laptop.
Right.
Thank you.
And we got to hear that from Bill Benny. You know, I mean, we heard it from Ty Clevenger, but it's
After Freedom of Information Act requests, they fucking said they have absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero search results on fucking Seth Rich. With a
Yeah.
FOIA request, basically. And
Oh,
then
FOIA
it just
stuff?
comes out that his laptop's there.
Again, that's why the Freedom of Information Act, I mean, it can be useful sometimes because it can slip through the cracks. Usually you got to have historical records that are, we're talking about at least a decade old. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. I mean, you look at 9/11, for instance, and the stuff that was put out there via FOIA a couple years ago for the Israelis. You know, you couldn't have got that 5 years in. You know, I don't even know if you get that 10 years after. That's 15 plus years that was finally available. And we don't have the film. No, we don't have the film. We don't have the actual pictures of everybody that we took. Here's some shitbird photocopies for you. And by the way, we're also going to cut their faces out, even though the descriptions in the police reports marked with the public available information, you can tell who each individual is. But we don't want you to see these guys actually smiling and holding up lighters with the World Trade Center in the background on fire. Like, this is the world we live in. So they'll give you a little piece, almost like a fuck you piece. You know, like I said, man, when I say pure,
you can't do anything with dancing Israelis.
Well,
You
again,
can't. I mean, you could write a hell of a Mempress news article about it.
Right. Yeah. You could definitely get it. Yeah.
But tangibly, no. Oh, and by the way, I should. January 17th on Slow News Day, I'm going to have Richard Gage, the guy who put together Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. They have a documentary out called 7. It is excellent. Go watch it. Really looking forward to having him on, and then either that day or a little bit down the road, I'm going to have on Dylan Avery, who directed 7. And I haven't talked to him yet. I'm looking forward to that.
oh yeah, I
Really?
need to watch 7 and then have him on the show. I haven't had him on since I've been out in Iowa, and I intend to. You know, but I've got to watch the film. I want to get that.
It's only like 45 minutes, man. It flies by really quick, and you want to watch it twice.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to find it and watch it sometime this week, and then have him on to talk about it, because he does top-notch work. You know, he's very visual. He's very well paced in his storytelling, and I'm excited for it. I guess Vice just did another hit piece on Loose Change, because Loose Change is just making the rounds this year, and you know the narrative continues to be that it's Loose Change's fault that the QAnon conspiracy theories got as popular as they did.
Wear that shit like a fucking badge, my friend.
Listen,
Wear that shit. Be like, I made all you fucks. Bow before behold the power that is Bermas.
The Jay and Silent Bob quote.
I think you should, just for one video, just 1 2-minute video of like, and now you should thank me, and just fucking run through it. I think that would be
You fuck.
just because it will put like
Just take the piss out. What? Just once. Just once. Dude, when we're in DC, I'm gonna talk you into this.
Lord.
All right? I'm
Yes.
gonna fucking talk
I
you
think
into
all
this.
of us-
We're gonna find
get
some
that
silly
down.
ass fucking costume too.
Yes.
We are.
What should the costume be? What?
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
crown with a fucking like
Dress up
King
like
Purple
Klaus
robe.
Schwab from that fucking.
I can bring my Cruella de Vil wig if you want it.
Dude,
Like,
bring Mega
dude, do like
Brain.
a whole fucking. Huh?
Bring
Super
Mega Brain. Bring Mega Brain.
not like the
Mega
one where it's like
Brain.
in
Bring the
Galactic
brain.
the Galactic Federation. Did
Yeah.
you see that remote viewing document about the Galactic Federation declassified by the CIA yet?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, by the way, I just want to let everybody know I don't believe in the Galactic Federation. I don't think that the Israeli person is telling the truth. Magically, it's just the Israelis and the Americans that are inside the Galactic Federation. You know, if you want to rewind this broadcast and talk about Christians and the chosen people and their prophecies, it just so happens they're the only ones talking with the aliens on Mars. But this other document is this remote viewing document that's largely declassified, where they've got a remote viewer trying to look inside and do little drawings of the Galactic Federation base on Mars. I wish I was making it up. It's
Dude, if you give me fucking $75,000 a year, I will draw you aliens. Like, if you're like, hey, Andrew, close your eyes and look at the aliens on Mars and draw me a picture, like, there's no way I can be wrong. Like, objectively prove that these aren't the aliens. Give me my money.
I don't know. I've looked at a lot of CIA stuff, a lot of remote viewing stuff, a lot of MK Ultra stuff. And,
Yeah.
I take everything with a grain of salt. But when I saw that circulating with the Galactic Federation nonsense, guys, they're setting you up. They're already telling you, we're going to go to the stars. We're going to go to the moon. We're going to go to Mars. Elon Musk, your friend. Sit down in a fucking robot kiosk and get a Neuralink today. Like, no. And no. And I hate to burst your bubble, but no.
No. Yeah, I can get down with that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely no.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a pretty good idea. No. I like
No.
that's simple.
That's a great idea. It's the best idea that's ever ideated.
That should be the slogan for the Great Resistance. It's just no.
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
Like, at least my generation, maybe they took it away when they got rid of DARE and all that other stuff. But it was literally the Just Say No campaign.
Yeah,
Yes.
those were the
I still have my shirt.
Sixth grade, it was still Just Say No for me, and then
We
or
could
no, because in sixth grade it was DARE, because the DARE officer actually brought a pot plant in and showed it to me for the first time, and I'm like, that's what Uncle David has out there in the garden.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
now I'm gonna work this one. Like,
See, I don't want to get into like too much drama, but like my whole DARE experience was like at the time my father was in and out of regular jail and then eventually going to prison for dealing drugs. And yeah, it wasn't marijuana, it was usually cocaine or God knows what. And it's just like, oh man, I'd always hate when it was this time because like I already knew the lingo. Like I already knew like every scenario that they were gonna throw at me and what was going down. And it's just like, oh, this
It was
like,
the only class you weren't excited to correct the teacher about.
you know.
sitting there telling the cop, "There's no way that's a quarter. That's short.
They don't
I
call
can tell
that
from here.
It'd be like
You pad that up, buddy."
actually guy. The actually.
Call that a plug? What the fuck?
Oh man.
Yeah, that would be funny actually.
But for real though, I do want to hear what you have to say on Sarah Palin, Jason. I am interested.
That's right. That was like 15 minutes ago.
I know. I tried to circle back like 3 times.
Right in the middle.
We do it live. We do it live.
That about sums it up.
We'll put
It's going
it
off
together
script.
the right way in post. Don't
No,
worry.
we don't have to post anything. I'm going to put this
We
thing up
don't.
on Rockfin because that's how we do it on rockfin.com, ROKFIN. Support hitting almost all-time high today, Steve.
Yeah, no, I saw that when I got home from work.
It was soaring. I got out 1,200 to Bitcoin, which is really cool because another really cool thing about the Kyber Swap network is instead of just getting BTC, you can get WBTC, which is 1-to-1 Bitcoin only through the Ethereum network. So it's the first time I've actually swapped that out, and I've really been up in my portfolio there. As far as Sarah Palin, I'm shocked, but I'll take what I can get. I've always been a take what I can get kind of guy. Like, look, I'm going to be honest. I know I piss a lot of people off, not just with this face and this fucking mouth, but some of the decisions I make and who I talk to. And I just say this, I'll talk to anybody, especially on this subject. And I'm reaching out to everybody, especially right now, because this is not fucking around time. And you better get over it. You know, I've always been about building bridges, not burning them. I'm not perfect, okay? I'm a human being just like everybody else. Relationships come and go. I've pissed people off. They've pissed me off. You know, you have to learn lessons. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are vipers in this whole thing. There are the agent provocateurs. There are the opportunists. There are the grifters. There are the people that want to be social influencers. All that's real. But if a grifter can get me 100,000 more eyes on this
Thank you.
Like
Yes.
Sarah Palin is obviously a grifter of
Yeah.
multiple magnitudes to get to the level of, you know what? Let me tell you, sweetheart, how's vice president sound? Like what? Like no one knew who the fuck she was, like at all. I mean, they really thought they were going to give it to McCain, but it's like they pulled her out of nowhere. I remember when that happened. Like they're literally like, you'll be on the Daily Show every day.
Right?
At the same time they're portraying, Jon Stewart as some hero as the left. He made the McCain and Palin team. Comedy Central made those two, whether they got in or not. But at the same time, if you want to come around and have your come to God moment, please, now is the time. It's like, how do I feel when you were talking about Seth Rich earlier? How do I feel when I find out the information that Seymour Hersh got about the laptop comes from Andrew McCabe, like a verifiable intelligence demon? Like, there's no doubt about it. That's what he is, man. He's a fucking intelligence demon. The guy lies in his sleep. And I'm not talking about down. I'm talking about in his own brain, in his own sleep. Like at night, if there's any weird dream or conscious thought, he's being dishonest even there in his own thoughts. That's the kind of guy Andrew McCabe is. Apparently, he's not so far gone. There's a smidgen of a soul inside of him, and he tried to get the Seth Rich story out. That's the weird world we live in, dude. At the same time, let's give Bill Barr some credit. He was one of the only guys talking about the fact that, this was like a Brennan CIA operation spying on the campaign, etc. And they did so illegally. He never named names. He never went after him legally, but he inched it out there. That was kind of his limited hangout gig to make Trump think something was going to get done, and it didn't. But like at some point, even Barr probably thinks, hey, yeah, I got to clean up this Epstein mess. Fuck, man. I cleaned up Iran-Contra. No big deal. That was part of it. He'll go to church. He'll have his family, and he'll think he's doing, if he really believes in heaven and hell or whatever, he's really a religious guy. I don't know if he is, but if he is, he's doing the Lord's work. Some people justify this shit. Like when you're in the intelligence world and you get up to that level, I don't know that it's not like Jason Bourne and like in like I don't know if it's like the second or third one, but like the executive of the CIA is sitting there talking to like his little minion, like assistant guy that's like 19 or 20, and the guy just says something wrong and he just fucking kills him in the hallway. Like no problem, just waits for him to turn around, just fucking kills him in the hallway. I don't know that guys like Bill Barr at some point haven't been in this situation where they were like mafioso style being like, you done great work, Jim. And then put two in the back of his fucking head. I'm not saying I have any evidence of that. I'm just saying.
Well, so you were talking about how
they're that level of psychopath.
Exactly.
Yes, they are that level of psychopath. There's no question about that.
And with these people having crazy belief systems, right? With it being Christmas, just remember, Jesus forgives genocide.
Right?
Like, the only thing you can't do in Christianity is doubt the existence of the Holy Spirit. Like, murder, pillage, just say you're sorry, keep going.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
That's literally that's why elitists prescribe to Christianity, because all they have to do is say, I'm sorry.
So I'm glad you said genocide. And I know that's a way to start a nice Christmas holiday rant. But so I was going back and forth.
Hang on. I love these vigils so much. I do. So much.
So anyway, I'm going back and forth with the guy who I used to flip pizzas with and who actually introduced me to Dylan and Corey and essentially got my career started. Okay. Now, he's a pretty successful dude living out in Colorado, like an events manager guy for, touring musical acts. He's smart. He's been smart with his money, all this stuff. Pretty smart guy. So we've been going back and forth on the vaccination, right? And we get down, we start going back and forth, and I go, listen, man, the efficacy rate is just on the antibodies. I go, they're telling you that it won't stop infection. And then I send him the Senate hearing where Dr. Corey says he has 100% rate of stopping infection of the virus with ivermectin. And then I send him, you know, the other studies, and he goes, okay, well, then I go, listen, man, let's talk about the HIV. And we can do that live right here. I don't know that I'm willing to dolly up my arm that, number one, has now been confirmed to have false positives of HIV. All right. They stopped trials in Australia when this happened. This is like 2 weeks ago. And in October, they admitted that the vaccine could increase your risk of HIV. And then I pointed out that Bayer gave many people live HIV virus in the 80s and 90s throughout the world and paid out cases and had a ton of NDAs. All right. So then he goes to me, and we're going to circle around to genocide, everybody, I promise. He goes to me, well, how evil do we want to think people really are? You know? And then I simply texted him this article that was just a 1.5-page opinion piece on the genocide in Yemen and the United States' blood-stained hands. And it had a picture of Trump with the Prince of Saudi Arabia, but it started out with Obama and his work there. And it very roughly explained all these drone bombs and the millions of people that have died there, either as a result of maybe being at a wedding or the starvation that occurs after you drone bomb entire cities, right? And he comes back at me like 15, 20 minutes later, and he just writes, we need Batman. and he's like, all right, I get it. People, he goes, how sinister you want to be? I go, well, how sinister does history and current geopolitics suggest? Now he comes back with the Batman comment. So now I've kind of broken him a little bit, right? But then I put some salt on the wound. I go, in actuality, Batman is a billionaire that's taking out the bad guys from behind the scenes. I'm like, that shit doesn't happen. Why the fuck do we think some billionaire is going to come and save us? I go, the billionaires aren't going to save us, bro. Superman's not real. The aliens aren't coming to save us either. I go, it's just me and you, a couple of shitty pizza flippers that better fucking get in gear and buckle up and do something about it. There are no heroes. That's it. It's over. It's a wrap. All your heroes are dead, everybody. It's a brilliant fucking album. I promise. All My Heroes Are Dead by R.A. the Rugged Man.
Really
I'm telling you, you better be your own hero. We're there. We're there.
Absolutely. And the thing about Yemen, just to make it a little bit darker, it was
and also about R.A. the Rugged Man, who's like one of the few people that frequently mentions the genocide in Yemen in his music.
Yeah. So it came out in WikiLeaks, right, that the Yemeni prince actually authorized the drone bombing of his own nation for personal gain.
That's how dark people are today.
No,
2020.
whatever you like, however dark you can allow your mind to go, multiply that by, 50.
Multitude.
And you're nowhere close.
And then
you're still nowhere close.
when that same crown prince tried to stop or de-escalate the situation, he got fucking kidnapped by Saudi Arabia, right? And forced to make a hostage video apologizing for being bad to Mohammed bin Salman, and then released back into his country to allow it to be devastated.
I have a meme lying around somewhere that it's the Saudi royal family, MBS's dad, and then eventually him putting the gold around the neck of the president, and it says when you get a new dog every 4 to 8 years, you buy your chains in bulk.
Yes.
Or you buy your collars in bulk.
And just to circle that around to the reality that we live in, and how the serf class, the plebs, is just a growing number. It's almost going back to the 1700s when it was outward, right? When there was a visible separation to how healthy the royal class was and how fucked up we all looked. To the point where royalty still exists. Like you just said it. It's the Saudi royal family. It's the royal family in the United Kingdom that's just having a holiday with their family outside, having a picnic. I don't know if you saw those, not wearing masks. No shit, because it's not for them. And those are the generational families that have literally found a way to sustain power for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Think how wild that is. And people think the system's not rigged. I'm like, that doesn't happen. Like, you don't keep a crown that goes on for generations, hundreds and thousands of years, where the government establishment protects you without something going on behind the scenes. Again, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's the Netherlands, whether it's Great Britain, you know, we go on. I mean, what is it? You got a oligarchy in the Philippines too, don't you? I mean, this shit is generational, like Egyptian royalty. People don't get that they can't wrap their hands around that, because they think that a princess is something they saw in a Disney movie that they want to be treated like by a husband that they marry one day and now dominate. Because if they don't dominate them, they're going to fuck the pool boy and be happier, and then hopefully get a gig on the Ex-Housewives of LA, and maybe, you know, have like a cool Instagram account. Like that's literally like some woman's mindset right now. Like, I could marry into a reality show and then a social media lifestyle.
I think that's a lot. Like, I think that's a very pervasive, like, that seems to be a goal for a lot of people. Like, people just want to be influencers. They want to be YouTube stars. They want to be, what do they call
my
it?
8-year-old wants that.
Yeah, my 10-year-old wants that. We fight all
And
the
I'm
time.
like, no,
I
dude.
think we should all allow all of our children to radicalize other children on YouTube. I think we should hands in, like, let's make a pact.
Maybe that is actually not bad. I just don't want my kid on YouTube. Like, I don't want my kid on YouTube.
Well, TikTok, fuck it.
Nope.
Fuck YouTube.
Nope. Sorry, dude.
No, I know.
I don't even.
It's a
I don't
joke.
even. I'm one of those asshole parents that doesn't allow my child to have a cell phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, my kid has a cell phone, but that's more for me, honestly. So, like, when she goes to sleepovers, I can still call her and text her, you know, because I'm that annoying mom.
No, I'm like, me and her mom both are like, nope. So, hey, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
A little bit quiet.
This
Yeah,
is
you're a little quiet.
an hour. But
Real quick.
I will, first of all, let's get you all on individually sometime in the next week and a half on the program when you're free. DM me, you know, when people are open.
Oh, hey, I have the morning off tomorrow.
You want to do the 11 a.m. with me, Eastern?
Yeah, because I don't have a thing until 11 my time.
Okay, yeah,
So
no,
I'll do that.
2 hours, so we could go an hour easy. All right, so we'll, like, plan on, let's do 30 to an hour tomorrow, and just remind me in the DMs, and I'll send it to you 5-10 minutes before, because you know how Rockfin goes.
Yep.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Bermas.
Merry
Have a good
Christmas,
one.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Later on.
See you in DC, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm sure we'll talk to him before
Hey,
that.
Alex.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me on. It's great.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I just try and get it so I can see your faces and not be looking away from the camera. There we go.
Oh, hit the. You can.
I have to put my hang on. My husband has just instructed me how to use my own headphones.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Way to go.
There's my husband. Big
Hello.
supporter. You're live.
He's a
Cousins are
saint. I
great.
was trying to boost the audio, so I appreciate it.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely sound lots better now.
Nice. Oh, good work.
So what's going
Okay,
on,
so I'm sorry I haven't caught what you guys have been talking about up till now. I've just been
Oh,
popping in and out.
Child,
So.
we don't even know. We don't know.
We've been in the weeds. We've been in the weeds tonight.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I kind of got off on some tangents. Honestly, I have no idea what just happened.
Right. Did we talk about the moon landing? Did Jared come on or what happened?
That's next. That's that's happening.
So, okay, look, so the last time Jared Beck, and Jason and Pasta were on my show, we did it was the anniversary of JFK's assassination. So we did like an hour on JFK, and then it got weird for like
I
another
saw it.
hour.
It was great.
And then Jared stuck around for like another 45 minutes, and just I unloaded, and it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But when he was on his way out the door, And he was like, oh, by the way, I'd like to come back on and talk about the 4 great conspiracies of our time as I see them, and that is JFK, the moon landing, 9/11, and Tavistock. And nobody remembered the Tavistock part, so that's the one I'm doing a show on.
Right.
And then we'll get to
Dude,
the putting them all together.
dude,
Yeah.
I'm exerting executive decision here. We have to do a moon landing one.
We can do a separate moon landing one, but we're doing Tavistock
That's
first.
fine. That's fine. I'm just saying. I want to have that conversation.
Yeah, well, I was saying on
Hey,
Twitter,
look, the people were into it.
Esoteric Ed, who's one of New Zealand's greatest YouTubers, he really goes down into the rabbit hole sometimes, and he's done a fantastic expose of the number of photographs taken on the moon and just how physically impossible it was. So whether or not you believe we got there or not, there's definitely funny
Does
business
AI
about the
bot
footage.
respond to that thread?
What'd you say, Steve?
Respond to that thread with just a picture. Did you see Jared Bot's comment on that thread? It was just a picture of Stanley Kubrick laughing.
Oh my god, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should get Vivian Kubrick on to talk about it.
We've tried.
You know what,
Oh.
man?
We've tried.
Try again.
She's still welcome on.
Yeah.
It's, anytime, dude. I think we're nice.
Buddy.
I think we're considerate hosts.
Yeah.
No, we don't usually go after our guests.
I don't know that I ever have I?
I know.
We've had some guests get kind of salty with other guests, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's
And the
been a couple
last time
times I've-
Alex was on, we did kind of jump at Ian Rose for his stance.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
just about creeping authoritarianism and that we can't really let any of it happen. I mean,
I love
really,
Ian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I think it's okay to push back a little bit. I mean, as long as you're not
It's okay to not agree on things 100%.
right. What?
Right?
Josh,
I
ridiculous.
know.
You
I
have to
know.
agree with somebody 100% of the time, or if they say anything wrong,
Canceled.
you cannot
Blocked.
ever agree with anything they say ever again. Bad. That's how it works.
Yes.
Like,
I think
I'm glad we're on the same page.
the longest term of the Assange supporters tend to toe the line, which you're seeing with Kathy Vogan and Consortium News and all the long term supporters. They're just being very cautious when it comes to COVID, I think. And WikiLeaks, you can see it. There's a desire to make us not take risks when it comes to protesting and getting ourselves arrested. But I mean, if you look at Ali May in London, she's pushing on and she's getting a hell of a lot of trouble. Like, she just did Piccadilly Circus a couple of days ago. There's a post from her. The police came in and walked through the candles. It's just, and I think
Dude,
we
the
do have
cops in Piccadilly have been nuts for the last month
they
and
have
a half.
gone
and it was
completely
permitted.
insane.
She had
Yeah.
official permission to do
Yeah.
the protest.
Yeah, no, they jumped through all of the fucking hoops. They did the risk assessment thing. They have their, every little station that they need to have. And no, they're perfect. What I did love is on the way out, Ali got to wave the Mike Pompeo gigantic blob of satanic jello poster.
Yeah, and wasn't a great soundtrack playing as well. She said the song was just so fitting for the ending, for the footage that took place,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
amazing how much they get harassed every week. It
And
is.
EF Press actually does a fucking amazing job of chronicling it. He is
Isn't
there-
he-
That's
Isn't-
Joe Brock
Yep.
at
Absolutely.
EF Press.
Isn't he going to
Yeah,
be
he
on soon?
deserves way more followers. Yeah, and even during the fullest on lockdown, he was walking through Hampstead Heath every day, giving a report on what was going on. So yeah, everyone should follow EF Press. Definitely, great guy.
When's Joe supposed to be on
Speaking of
again?
media, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there was a little hiccup. Just so everybody knows, there was a little hiccup apparently with journalists getting approved to cover the ruling on January 4th. So they had changed apparently the date that you had to sign up to be approved, which I think it's weird that you have to sign up to be approved again if you were already approved for the last round, but that's neither here nor there. So they had changed the deadline and nobody knew about it. And so there for a second, we were people were scrambling. I think Mary Kostakidis tweeted about it, and Mohammed Almazi was speaking about it as well. Kevin Gasula, Juan Passarelli had mentioned it on Twitter. They were all kind of scrambling, but apparently they've gotten it all worked out, and I've at least seen that Mo, Kevin, and Juan have definitely been approved. I don't know about
Taylor
Mary.
has been approved.
Taylor as well. Yeah,
Taylor's
Taylor
been
Hudak.
approved. Okay, so it looks like that's not going to be an issue anymore. But I know that there for like 24 to 36 hours, there were some journalists scrambling trying to figure out what was going on. So I just want to let everybody know that everything's good. We have good journalists. They're going to be there. Everything's fine on that end. So that's good news. Very good news indeed.
And we can be sure that it won't be any journalists with 1 million followers, will it? It will be the ones that are just struggling through to try and get old media, word out,
Yeah, just trying to give you attention at all.
Yeah. So if anyone's got spare money, I really think we need to put it towards, you guys and people who are actually like doing the journalism correctly and actually able to cover it. We need to be trying to encourage everyone off our Netflixes and onto our kind of supporting local media for sure. That's a big one. If you've got spare money, not many of us have at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, but even even just signing up for like a Rockfin, because you just pay the one fee, and it still can help multiple people. So I mean, and finding new platforms like that too that are going to be more content creator friendly and not so censored, and oh man, it's gonna get so bad. It's already getting bad, but I think that people are just not at all prepared for what's about to happen, because I think Joe Biden is going to be so much worse.
So let's get one thing clear. It's not Joe Biden.
Right.
It's Kamala Harris.
Yes.
And this is Kamala Harris. Ask her.
Right.
It's the Harris administration.
Which is crazy for someone who didn't even score 2%?
Fucking delegate.
2%.
Not a single vote.
Didn't earn a delegate.
This is like the 4th place person and the 13th place person in the Democratic Party somehow
managed to
winning the
become
presidency. Like it's the biggest logical fallacy for anyone who's been paying attention.
Yeah, but it's pretty clear to see the 4th is even going to not be there, and we know that the 4th got there through a lot of trickery and, shall I say, shit fuckery.
Fuckery. All of them. Every single person elected to office got there through some kind of fuckery. That's how it works in the United States. Our elections are trash. They're garbage. They are not. It's so amusing to me that we still have to have that conversation where you have to convince people that our elections aren't legitimate.
You got to convince grown-ass adults
Yes.
that voting in a rigged system inside a duopoly is not a sustainable pathway to real and lasting change. And they're like, but like, okay, if you've got a long lens of history and you haven't noticed that since they put bullets in John F. Kennedy, it's become a technocratic, quasi-fascist shit show, then you're directly benefiting from that technocratic, quasi-fascist shit
But
show.
it's not even just the United States. I mean, it is Five Eyes entirely, exactly the same playbook in every country. And no matter what, I mean, a lot of people are gushing about Jacinda here today, but I mean, we know that she's like a Hillary, really, but everyone thinks that she's fabulous. Tony Blair was the Trojan horse that took over the left to start off everything in the UK, and every resistance, like Corbyn, to get out of that has just been disintegrated, and there's no way Keir Starmer will win support. So, the same story in UK, the same story in Australia, which has a very Americanized political system, most similar to America, actually. And I think it's the same story. I mean, I don't know if you know, but Jacinda or someone here made sure that the only third party that was really pushing, was getting a lot of support on Facebook was deleted 3 days before the election. Just deleted off Facebook at a party. And I wasn't going to vote for them because I was going to vote for the one that had supported Assange, which was Tiny. But I was disgusted by it. I mean, how can you delete? It almost made me vote for them out of spite. This is what we do to third parties everywhere. This is
Yeah,
what we
well,
do.
in our country, the Democratic Party just sues to get the Green Party thrown off the ballot entirely. So,
Which didn't even a problem because the Green Party's corrupt as fuck.
yes, I mean, the Green Party is like a little like
And I shouldn't say that. There are individual state chapters
blah,
that
blah,
are
blah,
not affiliated with the Green Power faction that
blah, blah. You don't have to use like
rigged the hell out of their part. But just because you're not corrupt doesn't mean you're not an idiot.
right. And if the the institution is corrupt, it really doesn't matter that much about those
No.
little individual players
No.
being not corrupt or unknowingly corrupted. That's possible too. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's absolutely no way. I don't know why. I honestly, you would think that after 2016, people would have been like, okay, this is obviously not going to work out. And then you would think after 2020 that people would be like, okay, now really for sure, this is not going to work out. But there's still people talking about reforming the party and AOC is an ally and, we can still take it over and everything's fine. And we just have to vote harder next time. And if we phone bank more and it's this fairy tale, and now
AOC just got out-lefted by Donald Trump
I saw that. I saw that.
and Sarah Palin.
and Sarah Palin
Yeah,
in
and
the
I mean,
same week.
Sarah Palin's emails were printed by WikiLeaks, right?
Yeah,
So not only that, she has completely humble pied it and gone, no, I take it back. I mean, incredible.
she said she was wrong and
Yeah,
she'd made a mistake.
yeah. It's amazing.
Maybe she's going to run for president next time. I don't know. What's the
People keep saying, "Oh, she's just trying to stay relevant." Okay, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care why she's
if
doing
you
it.
want
Yo,
something
dude,
relevant,
she went on
not
that
the issue.
fucking Dancing with the Stars show. Like, she knows where her audience is if she wants to try and make a fucking
it's
leap
not
back into
going
relevance, and it ain't going. We need you should pardon Julian Assange. Like
No.
that's not a plea for relevance. If anything, it's painting a fucking target on you from that media that you really didn't hate like you said you did. You loved it so very much. But like, I mean, I don't understand the logic behind it. It's the same people who like lob the accusation of grifter at election integrity activists or
Right.
Assange activists. Like
You guys, if I wanted
like
to be a
like my
grifter, I
phone's
would
ringing off
exist-
the hook and I'm turning down
Yeah.
mainstream media interviews
If I wanted
all
to be
day,
a
every day.
grifter on the left, I would start talking about Nina 2024. And she's in Ohio. I'm in Ohio. I would go volunteer for her campaign. I would cover her campaign. I would say very nice things about her and never criticize her. I would kiss the squad's ass. I would still pretend like Bernie is a good guy. There's no grift criticizing those people. Do you have any idea how many people hate me because of that? It's a lot. There are a lot of people who do not like me.
Yeah, there's no money in the truth, but you can sleep at night.
Yes. Which is better, I think, for sure.
Making friends with Comrade Misty.
Yeah.
We still gotta run. We still gotta do that on the show.
I'm excited about the making friends one, although I don't know where that's really going to go. Unless we just show like tweets of people hating me, because that's how I make my friends. But I'm mostly excited about fuck your faves with Comrade Misty.
So I don't have a guest scheduled for Slow News Day for Thursday because it's Christmas Eve. But I was thinking about like if anybody's down to come on and we'll just have Festivus.
Okay,
I
could do that.
And if anyone's in California and in like the Santa Cruz County area, you can come here for Festivus and we will film the feats of strength. And I will win.
That's tempting. That's tempting.
Thank you, Rob Juno.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
You rock, brother.
We love Rob.
Rescue Julian. Rescue free speech from the war machine. Free Julian Assange now. Yeah.
You guys,
We actually have a project that we'll be launching soon with the tiny goal of rescuing free speech in mind, and even in the name of the project, or at least part of it.
Move your phone,
Yeah.
Steve.
It's way the hell over here, man. I don't.
Yep, the noise is gone now.
So
All I did was pick it up and move it closer.
I'm just the sound guy. I'm just the sound guy.
I had
go over the candle for non-events?
Yeah, sure, I can. There's been a few more come in that I haven't got on my thread yet on Twitter, but I have just put a call out to anyone who's putting on any kind of action, whether it's online, street, or social media action, or music gig, or info stall, whatever it is, to try and get as much information as you can. And I've been looking around and seeing what protests I can see, and I don't know what's happening in London with regard to the tier 4 and how that's going to play out, whether even the main groups are going to even support pushing out protest actions which are going to contravene lockdown rules. I don't know, but obviously we had a plan for the 2nd in Trafalgar Square, which now Truman has just called off. So unless someone else is planning their usual Saturday action, which is at Piccadilly Circus, which is Ali May 101234, who is been doing candles for Assange at Piccadilly for a very long time, and also they've been doing actions with JA Defence at Belmarsh usually as well. I do understand that there will be a special delivery coming to Belmarsh soon, and so that will be potentially an event on Christmas Day. I'm not sure if that's when it's planned, but I think there's a little bit of hush hush about that, so the less I say about that the better. We have just had some actions in Germany on the 21st, the Frankfurt group, and so all that really remains now are the actions for that weekend of the trial decision on the Monday the 4th of January, which of course is in London. Now I've seen actions for Frankfurt, and I've seen actions for Hamburg. I think Mexico, if not a street protest, will be planning an online one, and certainly in New Zealand, where we have no lockdowns at the moment at all, we have a plan for noon on the waterfront in Wellington on Monday the 4th of Jan. At the same time, Auckland has a plan to go to the US consulate on the 4th of Jan, mainly because everyone's on holiday here and we really need to change venue to somewhere where there's going to be some people. There's just going to be no one in town by embassies and that sort of thing in Wellington. So we're going to do the waterfront at Frank Kitts Park. We'll also do some motorway drops, like billboards on motorways in New Zealand around that time, morning and night. Yeah, you guys are doing the 3rd and the 4th. So you've got the British Embassy on January the 3rd, and you've got Department of Justice on January the 4th. In Australia, we have an action in Brisbane planned, 4:30 on Monday the 4th of Jan. And that is from the Twitter address that is very similar to yours, Action Assange. Yeah, or Assange Action. Yeah, the Brisbane group have just put that out
awesome.
on Twitter. And
big,
so yeah,
big shout out to them. They're wonderful.
Yeah. And they had that amazing conference all through December around little rural towns in New South Wales and in Queensland. They were at Byron, Mullumbimby, Brisbane itself. Yeah, so they're like surfing, hippie kind of areas around that area, and also kind of getting near where Julian himself is from. And so yeah, I think that there's some great action going on there. Also, we've heard loads from Germany. So if you ever want to know what's going on in Europe in terms of actions online or on the street, freeassange.eu are the best place to go. They're listing absolutely loads. Vienna, I believe, will be doing something on either the Monday or the weekend before, like everyone else. Canada, I think we're planning something, but I'm going to have to talk to Steve McMaster because I think Sherry can't do it in Victoria anymore. So it may just be Toronto. So that's the other one. And I'm just hoping that we hear back from some more people where we are allowed to protest, or where people feel comfortable doing a solo protest, or whatever that might be. It doesn't matter how small these actions are. It's about us all uniting, virtually as well, and pushing it out virtually to our respective crews, and also cross-promoting each other's events, so that people in Australia get to hear about your work and vice versa. People for Assange in Sydney. We've got an amazing group on Facebook, but not on Twitter, called Julian Assange Supporters International. They've been doing all month practically in December. They've been doing information stalls in different parks and different markets everywhere they can to get the word out. And I think it's just one girl on her own, but I mean, that's had an amazing effect in Darwin. So power to those people. So amazing
I'll put
work.
something out on Twitter. I'll put something out on Twitter so that way maybe we can get some more people to send you some information about stuff.
Yeah, I'm just, all I consider myself at this stage is just trying to list it and help people cross promote it. And then I guess if you guys are able to be there, if someone needs the tech support to be able to say broadcast their online protest or play a little video of their online protest that they did, just so that you can help them get word out online if they don't have the power. I think if we can do those two things and try and help list all these world events together and then help them if they have to do it online, that would be amazing. So.
Yeah, I love doing, I think it was back on World Press Freedom Day, we did the Around the World streams. It was
great.
You and Josh slugged out like fucking almost 30 hours, I think, of streams or something like that. That was powerful.
Well, I'm happy to do that kind of thing. I don't mind being a person between interviews or whatever. I can do that too. So any help you need, just call on me. So.
For sure.
We like
So that Saturday, that's going to be our second vigil on our 18-month run.
Are you trying to tell me we need to plan
January?
something?
Huh?
Does that mean we got to plan something like a long one?
I mean, we should do something. Like
We're
that's
terrible at planning
18 months in a row of these. We had Benny and Ray and on for the year one, and that was fantastic.
Well, let's try to plan it slightly ahead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's a little less crazy for me. Please.
We could probably figure
There's
that
the
out.
fun in that, Josh. Come on.
Dude, that 30-hour one, dude, I had to set everything up
that
live.
was ridiculous.
I had to set everything up live, dude. It was insanity. It was pure insanity.
It was fucking like good watching you, because I was on it for a little bit, just like talking with you guys and shit for a couple hours, and then I just watched you guys fucking do it. Like there was one point at the end, Alex, where you were just like, I can't handle it. Like you were just,
we were so tired.
I loved it. It was because it's like a crash course. Like we all learn like so much practical things while we're doing that. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Andrew, if it wasn't for you, like keeping me calm, I don't know how I would have done it anyway. So you're very calming influence. It's great. Yeah, and it was like, oh look, I have to go. I'm about to go on live, and it was literally click, and then I watched you go live, and I was like, wow, it just. Amazing. So yeah, it was very calming. It was great. It was for someone with no experience of doing that. I mean, I appeared on
you're basically
a long time ago, but I was just a guest, so I just had to do my little segment, and then it was done. So yeah, that's funny.
I'm glad there's so many events so far. That makes me feel good. Like that there's so many things going on around the whole world.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most amazing audiences that we got was actually that one which Commander X came on our New Zealand protest. And we had like the whole world on our stream, on our New Zealand stream. And because of Commander X, he managed to get it out there. And I think partly because of Unity4J, it was going onto Facebook, and that can sometimes do quite well. If we could get back to that again, I think that would be amazing, because they do get some coverage. And because of that 5,000 people watched that. I've never heard of that. So I was really pleased that we could do that. If we can get to that kind of audience again, it would be just amazing. And I do think the momentum is there. I mean, we can see it in social media everywhere. Good
Real
and bad.
quick.
Attacking as well as people, which means you're on the target, as we know, right?
I've spoken to Commander X a couple of times, and I got a Christmas card from him and a couple of videos of the dogs running around the place that they're at, and he seems to be in good spirits.
Good.
So
Okay.
Commander X sends his love to all of yous, and
Does he still have a fundraiser going?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find that link real quick.
Is Gloria in the chat? She may have already found it because she's like super zoomer fast like that. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. No, sometimes
It's
if sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, Gloria, can you find that link?" Because she's way better at it than I am.
I know. She's like, it's weird. It's like a weird zoomer superpower. I don't know what it is, but it's ridiculous.
I swear
Like,
she types faster than
the
me.
pictures that we made of AOC shirt, and mine's like really poorly, like exennial terrible, and hers is like neat little zoomer perfection. Jesus.
I missed all that.
Yeah,
missed all
we were
that
making
too.
fun of AOC's tax the rich shirt.
Oh,
Because
and
she
it's
just
like
voted-
That
$70.
you can buy for $56.
Yeah, well, we changed it to I put, like mine said tax, and then I put like one of the little things, and then breaks for the rich because she just voted for that stimulus bill. And then I forget what Glory said. Glory said tax the rich, and then something on the bottom. I forget what it said, but yeah, we were just making fun of her for the coronavirus relief bill.
Yeah.
What happened there with Trump and the 2000? Is that law now? Is that in?
No,
Has
it's
he
not
made
a law. He
It is
vetoed the
political
bill.
theater.
He
He's
said,
in a
"Come
desperate
back."
situation, and he wants people to be like, "Oh, we like President Trump. He's a really good guy." So he's like, "Well, I'm gonna give you $2,000."
Yeah.
That's all.
Well,
that's
no,
all.
I look. That's what they were arguing for, though. Initially,
Yeah, he was arguing for that. Apparently, that's the word. Like that's the rumor. I forget. It might have been like a Jeff Stein or somebody put out something like a thread of tweets where Trump initially wanted at least 1,200, but really wanted 2,000, and then his aides apparently talked him out of it and said that would blow up the negotiations with Democrats. And you guys know that Nancy Pelosi would never allow Donald Trump to be seen doing a good thing.
she fucking tweeted out like, "Finally, like
Yeah.
now we can really make something happen." And you realize like that, like 95% of the country, and even the people that say they like her, know that it was her fucking fault.
Yeah. She doesn't care. It doesn't matter.
And no, there's no shame in that fucking partially animated corpse. None.
No.
Zero.
She's a sociopath. Or she's a
No,
psycho.
that's been replaced with wine from her own vineyard. Like
And I
wherever the shame may have been. No, that's just Pelosi brand wine now.
Mhm.
Like that's
And
all. And that, to be fair, man, like she had no shame when she was a child growing up in Baltimore. Like her whole family's mobbed up. Like it. Oh, and then
I got the
Gavin Newsom.
no, I got the picture of the stocking that I sent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, throw it up on the thing, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna download it so I don't share
Right.
everything in my computer all at one time.
Well, that would be, be helpful. Helpful. It would.
Oh, boy.
I'm really looking forward to being in DC. There we go. Little
Absolutely
Christmas
wonderful.
love from Commander X.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I put that link in chat for everybody.
Much love to X during the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear Nat's been in touch as well, looking after
I love
him.
Matt.
Yeah, me too.
Matt's amazing. Surprised
Yeah.
sometimes she's in the chat, but maybe not today.
Do you want to do some news with us, Alex? We have a couple things to cover.
Alex.
Well, sorry, what do you want me to do?
Hang out if
No,
you want.
He was just asking if you would like to participate in
We
some-
would like your spontaneous analysis.
A
Yes.
spontaneous analysis of what's going on right now.
No, we've got specific things that we're going to talk about. You're just going to have to absorb it on the fly.
Andrew, pick a topic. Go. Pick one of the articles. Ready, set, go.
Guardian view on Julian Assange, not extradite him editorial.
Oh yeah, I'd love to know about the Guardian because I haven't even read it. But if you're going to quiz me on what to say about it,
No, I'll screen share it. And we
Can I just say fuck the Guardian? Thank you. Okay, got it out.
Yeah, and even their editorial board
Yeah.
was like,
But also fuck the
if you haven't already, Andre, I can.
No, I got it pulled
Oh,
up.
wow.
Are we doing
so-
the? Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't see shit.
Why?
All I see is a fuzzy screen.
so basically pretending to be all concerned now that they really are part of the reason he's stitched up and still haven't retracted the article
Yes,
which talks
it's
about
amazing.
Venice.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's still up. But seriously, it's a work of art. The sandy colored chinos, they made up a whole ass fake outfit for Manafort to wear. Like they made up a whole ass outfit. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous.
That's how you know Zoolander was right.
Wait, what?
Blue
How do
Mag.
you know-
It was a fashion industry joke. Was it?
Now,
Hey,
was it
didn't
true
we
that
have a
Kath
talk
Steiner-
about you and jokes before the show?
Oh,
And that didn't sink in?
Does someone want to read this?
Okay, do it.
On 4 January, a British judge is set to rule on whether Julian Assange should be extradited to the United States, where he could face a 175-year sentence in a high-security supermax prison. He should not. The charges against him in the U.S. undermine the foundations of democracy and press freedom in both countries. The secret military and diplomatic files provided by Chelsea Manning and made public by WikiLeaks working with The Guardian and other media organizations revealed horrifying abuses by the U.S. and other governments. Giving evidence in Mr. Assange's defense, Daniel Ellsberg, the lauded whistleblower whose leak of the Pentagon Papers shed grim light on the U.S. government's actions in the Vietnam War, observed the American public needed urgently to know what was being done routinely in their name, and there was no other way for them to learn it than by unauthorized disclosure. No one has been brought to book for the crimes exposed by WikiLeaks. Instead, the Trump administration has launched a full-scale assault on the International Criminal Court for daring to investigate these and other offenses and is pursuing the man who brought them to light. It has taken the unprecedented step of prosecuting him under the Espionage Act for publishing confidential information. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State and former CIA director and also gigantic blob of satanic jello, has previously described WikiLeaks as a non-state hostile intelligence agency. In doing so, it chose to attack one of the very bases of journalism, its ability to share vital information that the government would rather suppress. No public interest defense is permissible under the Espionage Act. No publisher covering national security in any serious way could consider itself safe were this extradition attempt to succeed, wherever it was based. The acts of which Mr. Assange is accused, which also include one count of conspiring to hack into a Pentagon computer network, which, I mean, that seems a little unnecessary, took place when he was outside the U.S. The decision to belatedly broaden the indictment looks more like an attempt to dilute criticisms from the media than to address the concerns. The real motivation for this case is clear. His lawyers argue not only that the prosecution misrepresents the facts, but that he is being pursued for a political offense for which extradition is expressly barred in the U.S.-UK treaty. The Guardian hasn't done all their homework, and we can talk about that after the fact. Previous cases relating to Mr. Assange should not be used to confuse the issue. Sweden has dropped the investigation into an accusation of rape, which he denied. Well, yeah, because it was a fucking setup which has been exposed completely thoroughly by Nils Melzer, who happens to be the UN rapporteur on torture, which you think the Guardian could have fucking checked on. He has served his 50-week sentence for skipping bail in relation to those allegations, imposed after British police dragged him from the Ecuadorian embassy, which is, by the way, the longest serving sentence for skipping bail in the modern era that anyone has had to serve. Yet, while the extradition process continues, he remains in Belmarsh prison, where a COVID-19 outbreak has led to a solitary confinement. And also, they're shoving all the people who have it on his wing. Nils Melzer, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, see, you didn't know where he is now, has argued that his treatment is neither necessary nor proportionate and clearly lacks any legal basis. He previously warned that Mr. Assange is showing all the symptoms associated with prolonged exposure to psychological torture. And that's just a really soft way of walking through that. And should not be extradited to the U.S. His lawyers say he would be at high risk of suicide. Such considerations have played a part in halting previous extraditions, such as that of Larry Love, who denied U.S. allegations that he had hacked into government websites. But whatever the outcome in January, the losing side is likely to appeal. Legal proceedings will probably drag on for years. That's also a disingenuous statement. A political solution is required. Stella Morris, Mr. Assange's partner and mother of his 2 young children, is among those who have urged Donald Trump to pardon him, but Joe Biden may be more willing to listen based on fucking what? The incoming president could let Mr. Assange walk free. He should do so. That's
The outgoing president should let him go free.
So, under the UK...
started. They make it sound like the solitary confinement only just started when the COVID happened.
I know.
It just makes it like, not that he's been tortured for all these years in arbitrary detention.
This is how they always do it, though. They finesse and spin it so that it doesn't sound that bad, and they want to, it's. The Guardian is shit. It's absolute shite. It's
been shit since basically Kath Viner took over from Australia, if I get it right. Now, she had been sent over to Australia to set up the Australian Guardian. And around about the time when all those anti-war voices, including John Pilger, just got deleted from the Guardian, in comes Kath Viner, and out comes, Assange, anti-Semitic, Corbyn, and all those other conspiracies, frankly, and yeah, my husband still reads the Guardian. It drives me up the wall.
Oh, and he looked like such a nice man.
I know. He just lost
There is as much to debunk in that fucking article as there is to compliment.
Yeah.
The Guardian. But I just want to point out, because we're talking about how bad the Guardian is, that is literally how limited hangout propaganda works.
Mm-hmm.
Where for any issue, you can take any issue that the Guardian has ever talked about that actually fucking matters in the world, read about it, and it's framed in that same way. The softest kid gloves possible that you could pick this Julian Assange up issue with, they did. Because they didn't include the fact that it's been over 610 days, that he's been in solitary confinement in Belmarsh prison. They make it sound like it was recent happenings, like Alex was saying. And then they move everyone in the wing and then turn the heat off. When all you need is a fucking light bulb that costs $1.50 and put it in the vents, and then COVID can't spread. And you have the fucking heat on.
I don't think I've got any hope in the British justice system. I don't know about you.
No. I don't think it's even in the hands of the British justice system. I don't think they're just playing their role. They're just doing what they're told, I think, most likely. So
a lot of the trouble that America's had actually does translate back to MI6 Integrity Initiative and a lot of those characters. When you talk about Russiagate promotion, when you talk about all the things that have been very convenient to the Democratic Party when they're lying, it's England. Really, I mean, back in 2016 as well, they had someone in the Bernie campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Well, I mean, Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele's a British spy.
And if you don't think for a moment that there aren't U.S. operatives that were inside Corbyn's campaign, inside Starmer's campaign, Boris Johnson, all that shit, dude, it's
evil.
It's
They
a
all have their
family
fingers
affair.
there. Yes, it is an orgy of evil. It's everywhere. They're everywhere. They have fingers in everything. Anything that matters, they're there. That's, I mean, it's weird that you get leftists who act confused about controlled opposition or infiltrators, or do you guys not
look
understand?
look at where those leftists go for their information.
I understand.
And look at who their favorite content creators and news outlets are. And all of those people pretend like the national security state doesn't exist unless they're absolutely forced to comment on it. And then they act like it exists in a vacuum, or they will, in broad strokes, bemoan the existence of it. But you can't get them to do a follow-up on it.
No.
You can't get them to actually talk about what the national security state does. And you will never hear any of their pet politicians comment on it, because in order to get elected as a progressive in the United States, you have to pretend the Democratic Party or the fucking national security state doesn't exist. You do. Like if you ever have to talk about it in general, you can say, like, if you're one of the 2 or 3 Democrats that votes down the reauthorization of the Patriot Act, you can point to that. But, like, that's the only thing you're allowed to ever say, ever.
Well, Tulsi regularly comes out with the deep state term, doesn't she?
She alludes to it a lot. I don't know that she necessarily says it as frequently as would be cool.
Maybe just in her tweets, then I see it in her tweets.
She has alluded to it for sure. I don't know that she's ever used it.
Actually, in one of her first campaign speeches, and this is just to give credit where credit's due, one of her first speeches when she was launching her presidential bid was directly about the expansion of the national security state.
Yeah, she's been pretty bold about it at certain times.
She willful, so criticism where criticism is due. She also willfully stepped off of the debate stage and said, "No, I'm not going," instead of going and making it about Julian Assange, because it was in the lead up to his trial that those debates were taking place. And
she seemed to be under a huge amount of pressure to react to the COVID, to do the right thing, and I think probably
this was before the COVID. This was before humanity lost its freedom. Yeah, right. I actually went not with Missy, but Missy and I both went out to a city in Ohio and put up free Julian Assange signs all over this little city. And they went around and took down hundreds of signs.
Hundreds.
And I put mine 8 or 9 feet up a pole. So
dude, okay, so I'm walking through Westerville. So Andrew goes at night. He goes the night before. And so I show up the next day to do my rounds, and I'm walking through town, and I look at these telephone poles, and like way up at the top, there's a free Assange poster. And I'm like, what kind of spider monkey motherfucker is this? Like, what is he doing? He's like, no, I brought a ladder. And I'm like, you brought a ladder into downtown Westerville, which is like this very suburban kind of upper middle class-ish, like the downtown area. I'm like, you brought a ladder cruising through here? Like, okay, dude. But yeah, like hundreds. There were
one of the things we do, which is a bit eco, and it doesn't cause any kind of damage to anything, but we just get printouts in black and white posters, A3 or A4, and get just glue made with flour and water. Mm-hmm. And you basically just get a big fat paintbrush, wet it really wet, put it down flat, and just brush it into the pavement. You brush it into power poles, you brush it into substations, anything where you're allowed to, nothing where you'd be covering a commercial advert. And then they can last for months here, and we've got a very harsh climate. It's pretty impressive. They do sometimes go for a long time. And what you do is you put pedestrian crossings, you put them in places where people are always walking past, and you do look at your feet. You do look ahead of you on the road, and it does work. That's what we'll do sometimes a couple of nights before a protest, something like that.
You thought this was a polo shirt, Glory? Have we met?
So the idea, because I don't wheat paste. I don't like, not that I don't like it and I don't think people should. It's just a personal thing. But part of the idea, I usually use duct tape if it's a metal pole, or sometimes I'll use duct with the T, the metal tape, because you can peel off the back, stick it on the front, and have half of the tape still on there. And so all you have to do is go up to the pole, peel it off as you're on the ladder, and put it up there.
Get some
But
foil
if you-
tape. Use foil tape.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like duct with a T, like the metal duct tape.
Dude, that
But-
foil shit is so hard to get off.
Yeah. But so what it does is it allows someone to go take it down. And if you use the right words, you're literally making someone go around and take down a poster that says journalism is not criminal, and a poster that says no more torture. And that's generally...
I also recommend that you use flashing tape and like window treatment tape, because it's just as hard to remove as the metal on metal duct tape, but it's also thicker.
Okay.
And sometimes it's sticky on both sides.
Nice. Double-sided. I like it. Efficient.
Yeah, but so then people are literally removing by hand a no more torture sign. And then by the time that they're done, they have a pile of signs that say no more torture that they have to think about as they're fucking throwing away. So like the whole idea is putting it in people's faces on so many levels. Like Taylor and I were in the city of Oberlin, and like, fuck the city of Oberlin. I got pulled over putting a sign up on not pulled over, but a cop pulled over and put me in the back of the car for putting a sign up on a telephone pole. And she wrote me a citation for the one sign, and I was just smiling the whole time. It's like 95 degrees, middle of July. It's July 3rd, right? Like July 4th is the day that we're like, hey, we can have free speech. And I'm getting arrested for having speech about a guy whose speech was taken, right? And so they let me out, they give me a citation, and the cop goes, are you going to take that sign down? And I'm like, no. So they go, she pulls it down. I'm like, well, what are you going to do about all the other ones? And she's like, what do you mean? And because she came up the road this way, and Taylor and I had walked this way and put the poles on so the cars coming this way could see it. So this cop in 90 degrees was in full fucking police body armor with her gun and all that, slogging down the street for 2 miles, pulling off signs that say resist, 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 like free Julian and Chelsea, because this was when she was still in jail too. And it turned into this whole little spectacle in the city right around the 4th of July. And I was like, fucking got him. Like it was.
Did he get footage of that? Did he get any footage of them doing that?
Not of that, but I went to the city council meeting the following fucking Monday, right? And I go to speak. The person before me, their microphone works. I get up to the mic. I tell them the story of what happened. In the recording that they were streaming online to the citizens, my microphone was cut.
Oh.
And the same bitch that pulled me over and fucking gave me a citation was apparently the one guarding the courtroom that night, and walks into the room and says, oh, the microphone wasn't working, and then walks out. And this is a city council that I had been 2 years before successfully stopping a pipeline fight in their city for them, now censoring me live in a city council meeting. Like, it was just, that's when I was like, well, okay, like, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I've been banned from Parliament, and I've been banned from my local MP's office. And we had a session where we were outside.
I left that city council meeting, and I had posters with me because I showed them examples of the posters that I was hanging. And I was like, is this advertising? Like, am I trying to sell something by saying no more torture? Because that's what I got cited for. So I go out and I start putting them up in the parking lot of this fucking city council meeting. And the police, the same officer and someone else pull me over again. Well, not pull me over, but I'm in the parking lot behind. And then they're like, you can't put that poster up. And I fucking put another poster up, and they come and rip it down, and I put another one up, and they fucking write me another citation. I'm like, fuck all you. Like, it was the most ridiculous thing ever for literally advocating for ending a torture program. Like, if people actually act on a local level, you immediately are like,
you can get citation after citation after citation.
Yeah.
Paperwork, backlog them. If they have 800 million citations given,
Mm-hmm.
They can't even operate.
I recorded the conversation with me and the local, like, not DA, but whoever, like, the city prosecutor is about this. And she's like, yeah, this isn't about the issue. And I was, like, going through trying to say, like, no, this is political speech. And she's like, no, it doesn't matter. You're selling something. And I'm like, what fucking world is this?
Oh.
Yeah.
How much are you
So
charging
did you
for
end
that
up having to
briefing,
pay
Andrew?
money, Andrew? Did you have to pay money for that?
Yeah,
for those
I ended up
locations?
having
Yeah,
to
to
pay
pay money
over
for that.
$300. I ended up having to pay more in the fucking liberal city of Oberlin that has like the greatest liberal college in human history and all that, right? I had to pay them more than the dude that climbed Parliament building in Australia and hung a Julian Assange banner on their gates. I paid 3 times more than he did
Wow.
for climbing a federal building in Australia, in a small town US for putting a poster on a telephone pole.
Yeah, well, I've been
Sounds
banned
like you
from
should have
New
climbed
Zealand
up a
Parliament.
tower and with a banner.
I'm afraid of heights. That's step ladder, man. Whew, like that's
I
the
hate
high.
ladders.
I bet
hate
you
ladders.
don't practice ladder safety either.
No.
Probably not.
No.
We just
I've
talked
been
about how he has
banned.
no
I've been
regard
banned
for
from
his
New
own
Zealand
safety.
Parliament for being dishonest, apparently. And that happened not because of that rogue speech that I delivered on World Press Freedom Day to the British High Commissioner, not that one. But I think that was when I was labelled potentially as a threat to the Parliament. And then I managed to get in and said that I was going to the toilet because what happened was they stopped us from gathering email addresses or contact details from other supporters outside, and we were in the park. We were in a public park outside the Parliament, and we thought, this can't be a rule. This is just not a rule. So I stormed in, pretended that I was going to go to the loo, went to the reception and demanded to see a paper copy of that rule that had told the security guards to not let us take addresses, because that just seemed Orwellian to the nth degree. And when I tried to come back in again, because I had not gone to the toilet, they told me that I was now permanently banned from New Zealand Parliament because I was dishonest to them. And then I've also got a threat of a trespass order from my local MP's PA, even though my MP has twice called for a meeting with me. So in public, at a festival, and there's a lot of people standing around, admittedly, but twice he's asked me to come for a meeting, and every time I've tried, I've got myself in trouble to the point where I've now been issued with a trespass order threat that I can't come several hundred meters away from my MP and his office. So it's, and when we chase those rules outside the Parliament anyway, we found out for sure they were not legal. There was no rules, and there couldn't have been any rules that even the Speaker of the House enforced that could have been at all, fair. And yet there's nothing we can do about them. So yes, I didn't get charged anything in any of those occasions, but it seems like it doesn't matter how much it doesn't follow the rules, it's just irrelevant these days. And they just told us it was because they had to be fair to everyone. And they're coming out the most Orwellian doublespeak while they're telling you can't. And I had, there was a Green Party councillor outside, former, and he was talking to the guard. We've got it all on my channel. Or a secret audio. And he was just saying, look, I've been outside Parliament for 50 years and I've never heard of this rule. It's never applied to any other protest, even one last week. How can this be? And it was a very interesting conversation, but clearly no one's following the rules in British justice. No one's following the rules in New Zealand Parliament. The rules are gone. What can I say?
Break them.
Well, there's no rules for us. They enforce those rules for us,
Somebody was doing a Twitter poll of what the worst state in the U.S. was, and Caitlin Johnstone saw it and answered Australia.
Yes, I saw that. I love her. I love her so much. That was amazing. That was one of the best tweets I've ever seen. It was good.
Well, she frequently gets a lot of hassle for commenting on American news.
Yes, she does.
She
does a lot of shit,
as she keeps on describing, and as I do too, and how Susie Dawson would as well, we are living in vassal states. We don't get a vote in America. And we're all those Russian trolls that Hillary talks about that are influencing the election, because here we are in the world powerless without a vote. The politically active people are gonna say something online when they see injustices in America.
I hate that whole idea anyways, because the amount of influence and power that the United States has across the globe, every human being on earth has the right to speak about our politics and to make comments about our politics, because we have asserted our influence and, shoved our power structure in everybody's face. And so everybody has a right to comment about it. I don't care where you live. I don't care who you are. You can talk about our politics. You can have an opinion on it. I think it's stupid when people try to say that Caitlin Johnstone can't speak about American politics because she's in Australia. That's ridiculous.
And I mean, where did the conversation that started the whole Russiagate start? It was actually Alexander Downer, Australian politician, completely supporting the Russiagate narrative. So it wasn't just Britain. I mean, I'm wrong there, but I think MI6 must have a huge role, I think. And I think they had a huge role in denotice for the media, which stopped reporting on Assange. I think they had a role in both of those things. I think they do have quite a lot of control over the media.
So Josh is hitting the wrap it up box.
Oh, okay.
Or the wrap it up button. So we're gonna go ahead and try and close out in the next 5 minutes, but we should take 7 just to do it.
I can.
Oh,
I can talk really
any
slow.
single one of us could just riff for.
I could rant for 7
Get
minutes.
my violin.
Can we do a couple minutes of appreciation then? Because there's Richard Medhurst and a bunch of other content creators, big and small, have been doing a great fucking job making sure that while people are talking about how Ocasio-Cortez is a sellout, which if you had been following along, she was a deep state plant the whole time, but I'm glad the mask is coming off around Medicare for all.
It's glorious. Oh,
Yes.
I love
And
it.
give-
I love
give-
it.
give-
There are so many people not
give
allowing
Hinkle's-
Julian to be forgotten in this too, with her being
What,
terrible.
Josh?
I was make sure you give Hinkle a shout out too, because I think he's trying to go out to the event too in DC.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, he is. He
So
is.
give him a huge shout out, dude. He's doing good work.
We can do a whole round of that.
All right.
You wanna start? And we'll wrap.
No, you were.
No, you're doing
leading
fine,
the
I was on a
Andrew.
roll there for a minute.
You had half a foot in it.
Oh yeah, I lost it though.
Did you?
No.
Appreciation. Come on. Get on the
Yeah,
ball
but-
here,
Oh,
Andrew.
yeah.
No, you're right.
Come on now.
He's been doing a great job though, for real.
We do it live.
No, there have been a lot of people, and the whole listen, the Medicare for All thing's great. It is what it is. It starts the conversation at least. I don't have any anticipation of our elected officials or elected representatives giving us Medicare for All. But it's cool. The unmasking, seriously, it's cool. You guys know, I love every minute of this. It's so good because I've been getting shit on for 2 years for calling these people out. And now a lot of people are seeing what I was saying. And it's great to get, it's a little bit of vindication. And I feel a little bit better about all of the drama that I've had to deal with over this nonsense. But, it has taken a lot of air out of the room. And so it's harder to get people to talk about Julian Assange. It's harder to get them to tweet about it. Everybody's wrapped up in this drama, especially now with all the drama. And it's everybody wants to tune into Jimmy Dore to see who he's going to tear apart limb from limb next. And, and he's doing a great job of exposing some really terrible people. And I'm grateful for that. But, we are down to the wire for Julian. So it is, a little bit disappointing that we can't get as much, footing in getting people to talk about it. But there are, Richard Medhurst is really doing an unbelievable job. It's rare that he doesn't bring up Julian Assange at least once during his show. And that's great. And I appreciate him for doing that. And there's more. Fiorella and Pasta are always really great about bringing up Julian Assange. Obviously they always have been, so I think it's important that if your favorite content creator is doing a good job of covering Julian Assange, make sure to thank them for that and encourage them to do more coverage.
And
that's
if they're not,
then bother the piss out of them. Take some lessons from Comrade Misty and be annoying. Be really annoying.
I think now,
It works.
from now until the 4th, everyone with a large platform should be tweeted at saying, have someone familiar with Julian Assange's case on your show
yes,
before the 4th. Doesn't have to be us.
Platform and you're watching this show right now, or if you guys want to send like the message out to them, if you have a large platform and you are not doing at least one show on Julian Assange between now and January 4th, shame on you. Like, shame on you. You should pack it in, homie. You don't deserve your show. You don't deserve your platform. That it shouldn't even be something that needs to be talked about. I shouldn't even have to say it. And yet here I am. I'm going to have to come beg you guys again. I'm going to have to come shame you on Twitter again to get you to cover the greatest threat to press freedom in history. I'm going to have to.
We need people building to and covering the actual court case itself as it's fucking read out for people to hear. Because that's honestly the biggest reason people aren't fucking outraged, is because no one fucking heard the court case that wasn't
a court case.
Right. That wasn't already, court case that wasn't already like in it.
I can say that I have seen on BitChute coming up quite a lot some QAnon sort of people who have been banned off YouTube talking about Assange pardons, you know, all the SGT reports, all the X-22s. I mean, you know, some of the more right or libertarian leaning press that we should give a heads up to, like the Duran, Alex Christoforou Farao, I'm not sure how you say it, but he's covering it regularly. And generally has a really good analysis of political events anyway, from a sort of anti-war bent. And I quite like being, you know, dividing my time between people like Consortium News and Grey Zone, who you'd consider left, but also seeing what the right is saying right now, and on banned channels, because I think it's interesting to see where everyone's psychological operation is at. You know,
I followed the SGT report for years. It was probably like 7 years. And I reached out to them constantly to try to get them, not even to bring us on, but just to talk about Assange. And it was just like taboo. Like the audience found it taboo. Like like Destroying the Illusion, like would talk about it in the most fleeting sense. Like, who the fuck is it? That Santa surfing girl will just like humorously joke about it and then be like, trust the plan, and then go on to the next issue. Like, it's crazy watching those. Those censorship engines. And then how they aggregate it, right? So they get their best performing actors in these censorship fields or in these PSYOP fields. And then they ban certain content creators specifically to funnel people to the more higher achieving psychological operation member already. Like, it's just.
So let's finish thanking the content creators and close out, because I'm trying to steer the fucking ship. All right.
Okay, but you wanted to drag it out, man.
So look, one more time, man. Richard Medhurst has done a fantastic job. Jackson Hinkle just had me on his show to talk about Julian Assange. Nico House had me on last week. I'm going on Ron Placone tomorrow to talk about Assange. I'll be on Placone show at 11 Pacific 2, I think, East Coast time. 2 East Coast time. Garland Nixon always does an incredible job on both of his programs covering the Assange story. There's a gentleman out of Vancouver, British Columbia, named Chris Cook, who has a show called Guerrilla Radio, and he frequently and quite excellently covers the Assange case. And I know because he calls me and asks me to come on and cover the Assange case, and I do a good job. Misty, whose show were you on the other day?
Oh God. I'm gonna forget. Brighton, I think. Brighton.
Okay.
So he and his co-host are a little bit more right leaning, I would say. But we have been friends on Twitter for a while, and they support Assange. I support Assange. And so, I just went on. We talked about a bunch of just some random stuff.
Frank Analysis has been doing good work on Julian Assange. Ed Lee, DJ Elf, he does good work.
Schiller Institute and Rogue News I was on.
Yeah.
Well, and Schiller Institute just did like an 8-hour conference on whistleblowing. Vinny was on. I was on
that.
Andrew was on.
I
was
have
on it twice.
on
I was
more
on
than
it
one
twice.
occasion tweeted out that I am more than willing to help people find somebody to come on your show. If I can't do it myself, I'll find you somebody to come on your show to talk to Julian Assange. It doesn't even, I don't care if it's me. I really do not. It does not matter to me at all. That's what I told Ryan Knight when I asked him to do the Assange show. I do not care. It can be me, it could be Andrew, it could be Taylor or Kevin Gathula or whoever we can get.
Get Mary Kostakidis.
Yes, we
If
just
we
need you to
can.
cover it. Just
Mhm.
cover it.
Yeah.
But Kevin Gastola does
Kevin
phenomenal work
Gastola is
over
like
on the show.
adorable and presentable
Yes.
and knowledgeable.
Yes.
And
Very
like
professional.
we are
And post
maybe two of those things at best.
Like, he is the
At the
man
same
that referred to Sheldon Adelson politely as reactionary. Like, he is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
he is
Too
a-
reactionary for The Intercept.
Yeah.
But
That's a good, like, he
if-
gets points from me.
if you're not trying super hard to be the go-to narrative management outlet for the Democratic Party, then you should probably be having someone on to talk about Julian Assange. Alex, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for being here with us tonight. We love that you keep everybody updated on what's going on with these events around the world. That is fucking incredible. Thank you so much for doing that. Please tell people where they can find you and where they can keep finding out and posting their own events for the 4th.
Yeah, so I have my own channel, Alex Hills. So when we're doing key reactions or we're putting call outs for candles, I often put it on my own channel, which is just small. Then I have got quite a big group on Facebook, which I'm too scared to go into at the moment because my professor wants my blood. So there's quite a few moderators in there dealing with that. And so events are going in there on the Facebook group. We've also got a New Zealand local group. If anyone is listening from New Zealand, then we would love help with actions that are going on here in Auckland, but there's also potential for other cities to join up. Really, if anyone could, on Twitter, I put out a thread usually with as many events as I can muster. And usually that's just me trawling around the net looking for events to list, or people come to me and tag me with something. So I'm just trying to list them all in one place, and I'll keep on doing that up to the January 4 deadline. And I hope that we will get many countries. At the moment, I think we have got about 4 or 5 for the January weekend, but I think we can get more. So yeah, look at Twitter, Candles for Assange, and Facebook, Candles for Assange. 4 is the number.
My name's Andrew Smith. You can find me on Twitter at Andrew Zigman. You can find us on Twitter at action_4 Assange. I look forward to hanging out with everybody in DC. Thank you to Josh for doing the 1s and 2s for us here behind the scenes. My co-hosts for fucking dealing with me when shit goes fucking crazy. And everyone that's helping out actually make DC happen in our organizing team. Fucking appreciate all of you guys. But yeah, follow us if you can. Help us share the GoFundMe link. Thank you.
And I'm Misty Winston. You can find me on Twitter at Sarcasm Stardust. I also host another show called Facts on the Ground with my friend Jesse Zerwell. We just did back-to-back interviews with Danny Scherzen because the first time we had him on, we went way over time and still didn't get to everything. So then we had him on again, and then we went way over time and didn't get to everything. So I feel like I could talk to him forever. But those are 2 really great episodes that you guys might want to check out, and definitely pick up his book, by the way, because it's really good. Other than that, just thank you guys.
What's the name of the book?
Patriotic Descent. See, I'm even terrible at promoting other people too, apparently. I'm great at this game, you guys. I'm such a great grifter. I'm like the best grifter that ever grifted. Seriously, nobody's got my game. Anyways, yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are amazing. Thanks to everybody on Twitter who puts up with my incessant Assange tweets and helps me retweet them. And I have like a little army of backup that they like just help me get my shit out there. So you guys are awesome. Do what you can with what you got, all that good stuff. I think that's it.
I'm Steve Boykin, and I host a show called Slow News Day, which you can find on Rockfin. and you should definitely be watching on Rockfin, because that's where I'm going to be when YouTube decides to yank my channel. We're also on D Live and Odyssey. My co-host is better than your co-host. My co-host is Glory Jones. She kicks ass. And I say that like about all of my co-hosts. I do. I do. I mean that. I do. I love you guys.
Glory's teacher's pet.
Glory was the only one who told me I look good in orange. And I
I don't lie to you.
Hey, I told you that was an amazing shirt.
It is an amazing shirt, but you didn't tell me why.
You motherfucker.
Oh man. This Sunday, Tedros Fikramariam will be on the show, and I am really looking forward to that, man. I was originally gonna interview him like 2 years ago, and he had a kid, and he like dropped off grid for a while, and now that his kid is a little bit older, he's starting to write and do more interviews again. He writes out of the Guillaume Journal, does some just incredible journalism, and is a really like dude's what comes out of his mind is like, I really need to get this guy on my show. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, January 17th, Richard Gage, Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, will be on the show. I have a couple of things.
I'm an architect and engineer for 9/11 Truth. I'm one of the signatories of that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that report.
Right.
Yeah.
You just get
again,
cool.
go watch 7, the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth just put out. It's a fantastic film. Watch it twice, like watch it once just to take it in, and then watch it a second time to like take notes. And what else do I have coming up? Ooh, I can't. Thank you to everyone who helped make DC possible. We love you guys. We do. We love all of you anyway. But we can't do this
Thursday.
We can't.
Thursday.
What?
Thursday.
Oh, that's right. This Thursday on Anonymous Bites Back, Sleepy Josh and I will be live on them interwebs. So
that's fucking awesome.
We
owe them this. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get into the story, but I'm sure.
Yeah, no, yeah. So Thursday, what time is that, Josh?
I think it's at 7-ish. 7, I think. 7 p.m. our
7
time.
Pacific, so 10 p.m. East Coast time. Yeah, Anonymous Bites Back. We had Mark on Slow News Day this past Sunday. It was a fantastic conversation. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think so. Thanks to Bermas, as always, huh?
Webpage.
Oh, I have a webpage. It's slownewsdayshow.com.
Thanks, Dingo.
I also have a Discord. I do. There's a Slow News Day Discord, which I forget. You can also find all of the DC information on actionforassange.com. We're coming up on 18 months of this, man. That's insane. Please, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, come down on the 3rd and 4th and see us. If you know people that are either going to the Force the Vote thing or the Trump thing, tell them to come see us. We would love to see them. And yeah, just thanks again for being a part of this, you guys. Thanks to my co-host Sleepy Josh on the 1s and 2s. Mean Panda for coming up with the graphic that's right behind me.
Kimber. Sorry, it's a Twitter inside joke. Sorry.
Thanks to Mean Panda for the graphic that's behind me. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Good luck to us all.